The Charlotte Hornets are in a very interesting but very good position. They have many great young players with LaMelo Ball, who's looking like a superstar, Devontae Graham, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, but they also have a good assortment of veterans in Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward. This video will go over how they can maximize this offseason and try to get to the playoffs. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So like I said, their first plan of action over anything is making the playoffs. They were in the playoff spots too before Gordon Hayward and LaMelo Ball got hurt, but they need to maximize this roster to make sure they can get to the playoffs. And we've seen some very young players break out in the playoffs, and that is what you want. Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, Trae Young, Nikola Jokic, all those players that were very young and thrown into the playoffs exceeded expectations, and that is exactly what you want for LaMelo Ball, for him to turn into a superstar. So first of all, let's go over what they can work with this offseason. They have $22 million in cap space, some of the most cap space in the league, but I don't know if they should completely use that cap space this year because they can trade for better players. They have a $9.5 million mid-level exception and a $3.7 million biannual exception. Those can get you two very solid role players. Like the 3.7 will get you a very aged veteran with good playoff experience, and the 9.5 will get you somebody like a Serge Ibaka. And their draft pick, they got the 11th pick in the draft. We'll go over who I think that they should pick there, and their needs are a center. That's the most thing that they need to worry about this season. Let's get into this first trade. In this first trade, it is Devontae Graham on a sign-and trade to the Indiana Pacers for Miles Turner. Now, the Hornets will also have to put in a lottery protected first, but this is great. This is a great defensive big and a good pick and roll big and a big that can stretch the floor. This is a do-it-all big that the Charlotte Hornets need, and to pair him with LaMelo Ball, it will just be beautiful. LaMelo was a great playmaker, so he'll also maximize Miles Turner. And also, that weird fit in Indiana with Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner won't be a thing anymore, and instead they will get a good guard in return, considering they also might trade Malcolm Brogdon. However, though, if they are not able to get Miles Turner, which I doubt will happen because the Pacers are on very weird terms with Miles Turner, then their best centers that they can get in free agency with that $22 million, obviously using less of it, is Jared Allen, Rashawn Holmes, or Nerlens Noel. And the next plan of action for the Charlotte Hornets is to bring back Malik Monk. He played really well this season off the bench, dropping 12 points per game, shooting 40% from 3 on 5 attempts per game, shot well from free throw, and shot pretty well from the field for his standards too. He was a disappointment the second he stepped foot in the league, but this year he wasn't, and they should bring him back for about 4 years, $40 million. And since they just traded Devontae Graham, what they need to do is extend Terry Rozier. This season, Terry Rozier dropped 20 points per game, 4 assists on almost 40% from 3, and really good efficiency all around. Terry Rozier this year showed that he's better than Kemba Walker, so they won that sign and trade by a mile, as they also got some draft picks in that return from Kemba Walker. Terry Rozier has played amazing in Charlotte so far in his career. Terry Rozier is a must sign. So the best deal for Terry Rozier will be around 4 years, $94 million. Now, the max that they can give him is $96 million over 4 years, and I would do it. In the draft, the Hornets have a couple of options. They can either take Corey Kispert if he's still there at number 11, or they can take Kai Jones. To me, I would take Kai Jones. Kai Jones is your good run and dunk and play defense big, but he also shows potential at shooting the 3, as he shot pretty well from 3 in college. However, though, they can also take Corey Kispert, which is an elite shooter with 50, 40, 90 potential, who also shows promise on defense. Corey Kispert or Kai Jones will both be an amazing addition to this team. You just prioritize who will produce more in the coming years for you, and I think Kai Jones will be that, considering rookie guards normally don't start well. And then in free agency, the Hornets should try and go after Patty Mills. Patty Mills is a really good backup guard, and as they are losing Devontae Graham in that sign-and trade, as I showed before with Miles Turner, they need a backup guard. Patty Mills is one of the most elite shooters in the league. Very good catch and shooter, and has been in a grit and grindy Spurs system his whole career, so he does have playoff experience. The most the Hornets should offer him is like the mid-level exception, which is about $9.5 million, but it depends. I mean, do you really want to give somebody that old $9.5 million over multiple seasons? So I think they should give him the mid-level exception over 2 seasons, just because I don't think Patty Mills will age that well, considering he's just a role player. The next free agent that the Charlotte Hornets should target is Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis came off a great season in Milwaukee, coming out of nowhere and shooting like 47% from 3 for the season. He also did just come off a championship, so he has playoff experience, and he's a good 3-and-D forward for your team. And a 3-and-D guy is great in any team and will fit with any team no matter how much talent you already have. And I feel like you should offer him from the mid-level exception to about $12 million a year. For the second to last player that they should target in free agency is Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso would probably take about your mid-level exception to get. So $9.5 million. That's been about the range of money that they've been spending on every free agent so far that I've been talking about. But if Michael Jordan wants to spend his money and be this owner and be aggressive to make sure they make the playoffs and probably make a solid run, Alex Caruso is great. He turned up as a three-point shooter, shooting about 40% from 3 this season, and he's a very good defensive guard with playoff experience considering he won a championship last year with the Los Angeles Lakers. And the last potential backup guard that they should target is Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is interesting on his contract situation. He had a really solid playoff run with the New York Knicks, and he impacted the Knicks team so much. Derrick Rose was a really good backup point guard and a really solid playmaker for the New York Knicks. The Charlotte Hornets would not lose out if Derrick Rose came to the team. But the biggest thing about the Charlotte Hornets is that they're in a very good position. Michael Jordan, for once, has been a good owner and took the right pick at number 3 last year, which was LaMelo Ball, which actually kind of felt obvious considering Anthony Edwards and James Wiseman were off the board. But LaMelo Ball has showed promise to be the best player in this draft, and he improved a lot since he became a starter. So the big picture is that the Hornets have a chance to make the playoffs, and they need to give LaMelo Ball, their rising superstar, the chance to get that experience. Alright, man, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to go check out my previous video on teams who missed out on the James Harden trade.
Gave her back, they were boring and I do not be with that, smoking on this tree I eat with the cat, it be around me cause I don't trust a soul.